Great, so we're making really good progress here, folks. I'm very excited. So we've done a lot, as you can see, for our activity post journal here. Make this a little bit bigger, perhaps. You can see with more clarity. So one thing I did on my own here is inside our project, inside of our drawable, I added a few assets. They have this plus icon that I've added. And by now you should know how to go and get these. But in any case, you should have all of these as well. And I have also added this image, just a generic image I found online. And I have these other images here, okay? So we're going to use some of these images here to put inside of our application. That way we have something as a placeholder. So here, one of the things that you remembered is that in this image view here, it comes from the tool sample, which is something that we add just for our own eyes when we're designing. Which means if we were to run this would be empty. It would not show anything. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go ahead and add a background image. So click here. And I'm going to go to Drawables. And I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick the C. Pick that one there. Okay. Say OK at the bottom there. And you can see there it is. At this point here, it's hard to see, it's in the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the source compact altogether and hit enter. And you see now we have our nice image there. Okay, so that's very helpful. Very good. Once we have that, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. We're going to look at others that we see, other drawables that we saw there at a later time. Let's go ahead and give some IDs to all of these awesomeness that we've added. So let's start with let's go ahead and start with our image here, this button image view, which is going to be clickable. Let's call this post button. Enter. I'm going to say yes. Let's get our first text view here. I'm going to give it an ID. The ID is going to be post text view, like that. Very good. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and give some sort of text. I'm going to just say Gina, as you can see there. Very good. And the next one, it's kind of hard to pick it. Let's see. Let's get that again. That one there. I'm going to call this post date text view. And this one here, let's give an ID of post title ET for edit text. And while I'm here, let's see. For text, I'm just going to go ahead and say today. You can see that there it is, a today there. Very good. While I'm here, let's go ahead and add size. I'm going to go to about 18, maybe more, 24. And for today, size as well, maybe about 18. Right? There we go. It's kind of hard to see, but you will see once we start running things. Okay, let's continue here. Edit text. I'm going to make sure, go back. Let's see. ID, post. The ID, I think I had already given the ID. So post title ET for that one. And I am going to, let's go back to the text that says name. We're going to say something different. We're going to say title. And I'm going to give a hint also that would say something like, let's create a new source. Let's say post title. All right, that's the text there. Very good. For the next one, we are going to have text that would say your thoughts, like this. And hint, it's going to say the same thing. I'm just going to resource here. Call these thoughts, your thoughts. Very good. Okay. And for ID, call this post description ET. All right. Of course, we're going to make sure that also our progress bar, I'm going to call this post progress bar. Okay. Everything is good. Last but not least, our button here, of course, has to have some name. Post, save, journal, button. There we go. For background, I'm going to say transparent. like that. Okay, you can see. All right, and for the text color, say text color, I'm just going to give that one. All right, so there we go. And of course, I want to make sure that it doesn't say button. I want it to say save. In fact, let's make a string here. That's going to be save button. Let's say save. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad indeed. So we have everything looking decently good. Of course, we can always come and change things and adjust if need be, which we will. Okay, so it's time for us to go back to our post journal activity. Set things up. Well, I'm going to go ahead and grab all of our widgets. So private button, start with a button, save button, progress bar. I'm going to use the image view that we created. Call this add photo button. Okay, going to create our edit text. Edit text as such. First of all, it's going to be title, edit text, private, edit text, thoughts, edit text. So the description, right? The thing that the user is going to be writing. Edit text like such. Okay. And while we're here, I'm going to add private string current ID. You see? So current user ID, I should say. As I said before, we would have to use that again. So I'm going to say current user name. Okay, we're going to be using that as well. Next, we're going to create a few instance variables for our Firebase. For our Firebase auth, so I'm going to say private Firebase auth, private, used again Firebase auth state listener. State listener is that. And I'm going to say private Firebase user, call this user as such. Okay. And while we're here, let's go ahead and get a reference to connection to Firestore. So I'm going to say private Firebase Firestore DB. So this is exactly what we had before. So I'm going to say Firebase Firestore.getInstance private storage. Very good. So we have that. But remember also that in our activity post here, we also have to pass in our image, because when they click here, we're going to receive an image and then pass that on to our database, right? Now, the images are not going to be in a general database. They're going to go to the storage. This is the infrastructure needed for us to put anything that is storage, such as images, audio, videos, and so forth. All right. That means then we need to get a reference to our storage database. Very simply, we can say private storage. If I can type storage reference, and I'm going to make a storage reference as that. Very good. And I'm going to also create another reference here. It's going to be a collection reference. Okay, call this collection reference is equal to DB, that collection, and the pass is going to be journal. Because at this point here, this collection reference is going to be the reference not to our user, because we don't need that. We did that previously. This is going to be to our journal, because we're going to create another collection back to our database. We're going to have another collection here of journal. All right. So there we go. We have our settings there. All right. As always, let's go to our main here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a few things. I start with the Firebase auth.getInstance. And I'm going to set up our progress, right? Progress bar is equal to find by ID, r.id. I think it's post progress. There we go. Next, I'm going to say title, edit text is equal to find r.id post title thoughts, edit text, find by ID, r.id, that post, we call description, right? And I forgot one more thing we need to get is the text view. So I'm going to say private text view. It's going to be current user text view, right? So I'm going to do the same here, current user text view, find by post user name text view, like that. Okay, so you notice most of the work really is the setting things up, but nonetheless we have to do it. All right, so we've done a lot in this video. We've finalized our post journal screen here, and now we're working on the post journal activity. There's a lot more work to be done here, but we will be able to do that in the next video.